Chapter 4: The Dawn of Filipino Nationalism. These are the events that finally ushered in the development of Filipino national consciousness, unification of the Philippines under Spanish rule. It was Spain that gave the country its identity. The country came to be known as Philippines due to her 3 centuries of colonial administration. The reduction plan of Father Juan de Plasencia was implemented, which required the natives to live in the area near the church. As a result, Spanish encomenderos found it easy to collect taxes from the natives. It also transformed the Filipinos into law-abiding citizens. Gradually, the independence of the barangays was lost as a consequence of the relocation of the natives under the influence of the church. With the imposition of Catholicism and Spanish culture, the Filipinos were partially transformed into little brown Spaniards. The people came to be politically united under the Spanish crown. Barangays were merged to form pueblos, pueblos into alcaldias, in addition to the ayuntamientos established by the colonizers. The rise of class media. The rise of a new middle class or class media can be traced to the prosperity of a relatively small class of mestizos and the principalia of ruling elite who benefited from the opening of the country to commerce and trade. Families which prospered during this time were able to send their sons for an education in Europe. Being able to witness the more progressive state other countries in the continent, these European educated Filipinos became disillusioned with Spain. From their ranks emerged Filipino propagandists clamoring for change in the Philippines. Secularization controversy. Secularization of parishes was the transfer of the ministries established by the regular Spanish clergy to the Filipino seculars. This issue cropped up when the Jesuits were expelled from the country in 1768. The secularization controversy began as a religious issue on the right of the regular and secular priests to administer the parishes. This issue later on became a racial controversy between the friars and the Filipino secular clergy, as the friars started demanding that the latter were not qualified to administer the parishes. Father Pedro Pelaez led the fight against royal decrees turning secular parishes over to the friars. The controversy became acute when the Jesuits returned to the Philippines. Rizal and the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. Rizal was still very young when the mutiny broke out. Although at his tender age, Rizal was already cognizant of the deplorable conditions of the country. His plan was originally to take up priesthood and become a Jesuit father. But when he heard about the martyrdom of the Gomburza, he changed his mind and swore to dedicate his life to vindicate the victims of Spanish oppression. Result is in his letter to Ponce dated April 18, 1889. Without 1872, there would not be now either a Plaridel or Hainao, nor Sanciano, or would there exist brave and generous Filipino colonies in Europe. Without 1872, Rizal would be a Jesuit now and instead of writing the Noli Me Tangere, would have written the opposite. At the sight of those injustices and cruelties, while still a child, my imagination was awakened and I swore to devote myself to avenge one day so many victims. And with this idea in mind, I have been studying and this can be read in all my works and writings. God will someday give me an opportunity to carry out my promise. Good. May they commit abuses. Let there be imprisonments, banishments, executions. Good. Let destiny be fulfilled. The day lay their hands on us. The day they martyrize innocent families for our fault. Goodbye, Friar government, and perhaps goodbye, Spanish government.